my cries, Lord, hear my plea. All around me, all I see are canyons of heartache and rivers of mistakes. They're calling out, longing for me. Hear my cries, Lord, hear my plea. All around me, all I see are canyons of heartache and rivers of mistakes. They're calling out, longing for me. So hide me under your wings of grace.
The thing about CIY is getting to meet a lot of different people from a lot of different places.
How you can connect to God.
The Aramapalooza band.
Getting to know Jesus more.
My favorite thing about CIY is... Do I have to answer it?
Yeah, correct.
Oh. Good job. Making new friends.
My favorite thing about CIY is growing closer to God and being with all these awesome people.
CIY is the morning show.
Worship service and the speakers are incredible. Growing in relationships.
We love CIY because it brings Christians together.
March, Lord, give me drink. Pull me up from on the brink. Dangers abounding, my head is pounding. It's clouding up my clarity. When I'm parched, Lord, give me drink. Pull me up from on the brink. Dangers abounding, my head is pounding. It's clouding up my clarity. So hide me under your wings of grace. Let your love be my hide.
At CIY, we talked about the book of Daniel, and obviously what comes to mind is Daniel in the lion's den, and that's one of the first stories you ever hear when you're in church. And like over the years you just hear it over and over and over again, and now here I am in high school, I'm hearing it again. But it's not like, oh my gosh, you know, I've heard this a million times. It's like every time I hear it, something clicks, something else that I didn't see before just, you know, blows it open, and it's just wow.
This week I have learned that we can't just put God away. We can't just say, I'll come back to him every Sunday. I'll just put him over here, move back next Sunday. We have to have him in our life every day. He needs to know that we're always there, you know, praying. He is our King.
What I've learned at CIY is that God's always there for us no matter what, and that he's always going to guide us to the right path.
He is always with you, always directing you on his path, even when you don't deserve his attention. Don't rush into life and listen to him, because you need to.
At CIY this week, we learned about the story of Daniel and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fiery furnace. And you know, you learn all these stories while you're younger and like in Sunday school, but when you get older and you come to this, you get to analyze all of them more, and you realize things you never realized before.
So the thing I learned at CIY this week was the power of prayer, and prayer without ceasing. And the most valuable thing about that is you learn to take off the mask and be vulnerable and trust in his will for your life, and not just live your day doing the things you want to do.
Changed is that when I come home, I have an actual mission that I can contribute to, and it's not just, you know, sitting around waiting for somebody else to do it. I have a specific thing set apart for me, myself to do, and I'm going to do it.
What are you going to do?
I'm not telling you what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a kingdom worker.
I came on this trip thinking that this was just going to be any other Sunday, kind of singing, sitting there talking about God, and it was just going to be a week-long thing, just like that. I was completely blown away when we got here, and just the second day hit me really hard. It's nothing like that. It's unbelievable. I have changed now, and I am ready to be baptized. And I went from just seeing God every Sunday, only thinking about Him Sunday, and the rest of the week it wasn't really in my mind, to I want to be with the church every Wednesday, every Sunday, help out any way I can, just so I can get people, everyone else, anyone who comes to us, to feel the way I feel about it, because it is an amazing feeling, and I can't wait to see it on other people's faces.
CIY has changed me because like being around all these people makes me feel more confident with like what I do.
This week, my heart has really changed, and I feel closer to God, and I feel more confident in, pursuing that relationship with Him, and I now can just pour my heart out to Him whenever I pray, and I feel so much better now that, this week has just really changed my life.
I thought that I could do everything on my own and that I didn't need anybody else, and that some moments I thought I was just alone. And then I realized at the end of this week that I'm not alone, and that God is always there, and that you always have your friends there to help you and back you up. Because, when we came here, we came as just friends or just acquaintances, but we're all leaving as one big family.
CIY is that you take God's path, not your own. And what changed my life was that open up and take down some walls and let Him trust Him more. And my funnest thing about this trip was getting together with the family. And that was
CIY, you can't put God in a small box, and He's bigger than what you can comprehend. How I'm changed, I'm done living for myself, and I'm gonna live the path that Jesus wants me to go, not mine. Most fun part, definitely, after having an amazing worship time, come back here with my non-friends, and my new brothers and sisters, and really just letting go and getting deep into the worship.
Can I go? Yeah. Oh, okay. My favorite thing about this week was the music and the worship, because we get to learn all these new songs, and then we get to sing them all week long. And you're not singing just by yourself, but you're singing with everybody in the building. And it's so amazing just to stop and just listen to everyone else singing and hearing and seeing all the different ways that people are praising the Lord.
My favorite part about this whole week was definitely the worship. It makes you feel so good. You can literally feel the words and the emotions pour out of your heart for our God.
My favorite part of CIY is on Wednesday night. The worship was great, and then we all had these masks that we wrote some regrets, I guess, and they had a fire right in the front of the stage, and we threw the masks in the fire so that we could become new and just forget about the past.
My favorite thing about CIY was obviously the worship. I know other people have said that, but it's just a whole new level, and there aren't any words to tell y'all how it was. It's just, the crazy thing about it was, out here in front of me, there's an empty auditorium, but during worship session, there's 2,000 people in here, and everybody's jumping. The ground under you is shaking, and it's just amazing. And then the very next minute, the same 2,000 are down on their knees in silent reverence of our God, and it's just one of those things that hits you.
My favorite thing about CIY would have to be two things: the people that you meet, and these people just become family. They go beyond just our friends that we talk to. We really get together with. And the worship. It is nothing you would ever see at our church, any church near us. It is just unbelievable and so impossible to explain. It's only something that you've got to come and see yourself. It's just, it's a great place.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you for getting us off here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for helping us in any way you could.
Go.
Thank you so much for raising money for us to come this week. It's been awesome.
Go.
Thank you for the life-changing experience.
Go.
Shout out to Jay for the food!
All right, so you guys can clearly see how much fun and how big of an impact CIY was for our kids. And I, for one, am very grateful. I know they are also. You know, we started off with a little bit of a rough situation where we had the van breakdown. But that really turned out to be a blessing. We fit 21 kids in a 15-passenger van with my dad's youth group and his church and their van. And so as you can imagine how close you can get with somebody when you have to sit on top of them. But it ended up being a lot of fun. We had like 2 hours for like that. But by the time we got there, we already had camaraderie. We already were starting to grow into a family. And throughout the week, as we went through the worship times and the sermon times and the small group times and the youth group times, it was fun for me to be able to see the kids really just start investing into the whole thing, the whole program. And not only that, but then investing in each other, confiding in each other. It was beautiful to see the difference in the kids at the end of the week versus the first. Just how they came together and how they just really just poured out their hearts to God in the worship. You can tell with what they have talked about that the worship was a big deal. CIY does a fantastic job of bringing all these students together and hitting them where they need to be. God uses this stuff in an amazing way, and we have seen lives changed. You know, Jacoby, he's going to get baptized in a few minutes, and that for one is worth the whole trip. Justin, I'm sorry you couldn't go, brother, but I'm glad you got Jacoby to go, and he's our brother now because of that, and so I thank you for that. But more than anything, next year, we want everybody to go. I don't care if we're just going to go high school and up. So if you're 17, that's cool. If you're 14, that's cool. If you're 85, let's go. So we're going to get everybody to go next year. We're going to start fundraising soon for next year because I do anticipate taking at least twice as many people as we did this time. So be ready for that. We'll be having that come up soon, some different things. But I just want to thank you. I cannot thank you enough for all the donations, all of the help. Jan, for all the food that you cooked early that morning, Monday morning when we left. But I just thank you so much for this opportunity that you gave our kids to really become closer with the Lord. And that is truly priceless. We will all be together one day lifting our hands in praise to Him. And in some of these kids' lives, it started this last week because of you. Thank you so much.